Hey, if you remember, we left off with a very sad happening in the family, Picky passing away. And so we're going to finish that chapter today. If you remember, the girls had just buried Picky and Ramona made a very nice tombstone. There it is again. Beneath the words, Ramona had drawn a picture of a yellow cat. "But we'll have to tell Mother and Daddy," said Beezus. "They're sure to miss him." "Won't that upset Mother?" asked Ramona. Beezus was filled with uncertainty. "Well, I don't think our burying him will upset her as much as finding him dead in the basement." She rearranged the band-aids on her hands. "You'd better get into some clean clothes or she'll really be upset. And don't forget to use the nail brush on your fingernails." Before Ramona had time to change her clothes, her parents came home. As Mr. Quimby set a bag of groceries on the kitchen counter, he looked at his younger daughter and remarked with a grin, "Add water and get instant Ramona. You better add some soap, too." Mrs. Quimby, used to seeing Ramona covered with dirt, only said, "Guess what? I found a bargain on cat food at the store." Ramona exchanged an anguished look with her sister and went off to scrub her hands and change to clean clothes. What a waste of money buying cat food now. The sisters exchanged another anguished look when Ramona returned to set the table. Beezus was washing lettuce with the tips of her fingers to keep her band-aids dry. "Why, Beezus, what happened to your hands?" asked her mother as she laid a bunch of carrots on the counter. "You've hurt yourself." "Oh, it's nothing much," said Beezus. "Here, let me find the lettuce." And Mr. Quimby, said Mr. Quimby as he took one look at his daughter's hands to examine the wounds. "Why, this is terrible," he said. "How did you get all those blisters?" Beezus did not want to tell. She cast a look at Ramona that asked, "What do I do?" This is dumb, thought Ramona. Their parents had to know sometime. "Well, she blistered her hands digging a hole in the backyard," she informed her parents, and added in her most saddest, most sorrowful voice, "She dug a little grave. We dug a little grave." She did really enjoy the looks of astonishment that the announcement produced. Mr. Quimby was the first to recover, looked amused, and then said, "And whom, may I ask, or what did you bury in a grave big enough to raise blisters on both of Beezus's hands?" Ramona knew he was thinking of the little graves they had dug for dead birds when they were younger. She sighed to make her announcement seem even more mournful. "We buried Picky. He passed away today." The parents' look of surprise and amusement turned to shock. They looked even more shocked than Ramona had expected. She began to feel frightened. Perhaps she had upset her mother after all. "Why, you poor children," said Mrs. Quimby, with tears in her eyes. "Burying the cat all by yourselves?" "Why didn't you wait for me?" asked their father. "I could have taken care of him." "You said we shouldn't upset Mother," exclaimed Beezus, "and we didn't want her to come home and find Picky dead." "We made a nice grave, with leaves and a marker," said Ramona, "and we even remembered to say a prayer, like they do on TV, before someone leads the dead person's wife away." Mrs. Quimby brushed away a tear with the back of her hand. "I'm very lucky. A very lucky mother to have such dear girls," she said. "And I'm really proud of you," said Mr. Quimby. "I hope we have such good luck the next time." The sisters stared at their mother's waistline. Her uniform was tight. It was not their imagination. It must be true. They raised their eyes to her face. She was smiling. "Then it is true." Beezus was filled with excitement and joy. "You are going to have a baby." Although she had suspected the truth, Ramona was as disbelieving as if she were charging her mother with magic. When are you going to have it? Asked Beezus. In July, confessed her mother. Correction, said Mr. Quimby. We are going to have a baby. I am going to be the proud father. You just said you were proud of us, Ramona reminded him. So I did, said her father, but now I can be proud of 3 instead of 2. And I don't think we need to worry about leaving the girls alone until I stop working, said Mrs. Quimby. Whee! Cried Ramona. No more Mrs. Kemp. At the same time she was thinking, a 3rd Quimby child? Her mind was full of excited questions. But deep down inside, where she hid her most secret thoughts, Ramona realized that she would lose her favored place as the baby of the family. She would become the middle child, neither big nor little. She thought maybe now she would rather have another cat. All right, we'll start with chapter 5 the next time, and the title is It. See you then.